Ah, mistakes, mistakes, and more mistakes. The Ducks made a plethora of mistakes that ultimately cost them against the Vegas Golden Knights. I'll talk about that and more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, man. Welcome to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your exasperated host, Jason Hernandez. I've been covering hockey for well over a decade. This is my 6th season hosting Locked On Anaheim Ducks, and it has been bad pretty much all this time. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I bet you bet against the Ducks. That would guarantee you a win more than likely right now. So the Ducks lost another game, their 4th loss in 5 games. 5 home games, rather. The Ducks are 1-4 in this current homestand, and it was mistake city on this one. I've seen some bad games in recent memory. This one was a bad one, not their worst game of the season. Okay, if there's any consolation, they didn't get just beat down by about 3, 4, or 5 goals. They lost by a goal, but as I mentioned on a previous podcast, I'm not going to count it because it was garbage time. We'll get to that at the end. So for all intents and purposes, it was a 3-1 loss, although officially it was a 3-2 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. But we're going to talk about the mistakes, and there was a lot of them. I'm actually going to go sort of in chronological order here. And the first mistake that really jumped out at me was a really bad giveaway by Radko Gudas early. This was early in the game too, like middle of the first period. Radko Gudas was kind of moving the puck around, trying to gather it. And then all of a sudden you see this really, really horrible giveaway, just bad. And there were a ton of giveaways the Ducks made early in this game. But Radko Gudas, I mean, he just, softly tried to pass it to whoever it was in the neutral zone, and he telegraphed a pass to Denisenko, who went streaking in and nearly potted one against Lukáš Dostal, who, by the way, I did say on the previous podcast I was hoping it would be Dostal against Vegas and Gibson against Detroit. It looks like we are trending in that direction. Dostal did everything he could in this one. He made a terrific save on Denisenko. He made several good saves on several of the Vegas Golden Knights players. Denisenko was all over the place for a good maybe 10, 15 minutes, but he looked good. That one didn't count officially as a shot. I mean, that one was a shot. That might have been slightly wide. No, but Denisenko had a high danger chance. And the Ducks were so freaking lucky that Denisenko didn't cash in on that very piss-poor mistake by Radko Gudas, who had a team-high 4 giveaways on this night. That one was probably the worst one out of all of them because that was in their own zone. This was about a pass 25, 30 feet away from Lukáš Dostal. And then you're just giving it away to your opponent in the zone. It didn't even cross the blue line. Denisenko didn't have to do much to get a high danger, a very high quality shot there. So those are the kind of mistakes that need to stop, especially the ones in your own zone. And Gudas, unfortunately, has been in the middle of a lot of those mistakes. So this is me officially saying, Gudas, you can't be doing that, bud. You cannot be making those mistakes. I don't even know if I call that. I mean, that is a mental mistake, but that is also a. I'm hesitant to say it is a veteran mistake, and by veteran mistake, I mean a player that is getting close to retirement kind of mistake. Gudas has been around a long time. I would be inclined to think that Gudas has been around long enough that he is not going to make that many mental mistakes, but that one was. And then we had other costly giveaways on this game. I think the costliest one of them all was the game-winning goal. And this was late in the game, too. So this was a giveaway from Isaac Lundestrom, who I think might have been trying to pass this to either Brett Leeson or Pavel Mintyukov. I couldn't tell exactly who he was trying to pass that to. Might have been Leeson. But Lundestrom just gave it away again in their own zone. Their own defensive zone. And Pavel Dorofeev picked up the puck maybe 20 feet away from the goal. And he just danced right in there for his 9th of the season. And Dorofeev pretty much got the puck on his stick, flicked it, and said, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, a mistake in their own zone. One of two. And there was about 3 or 4 other giveaways in their own zone that led directly to a very high quality chance or a shot for the Vegas Golden Knights. Gudas had a couple there. That one by Lundestrom, that one was about as bad as you can get. Alex Killorn had a really bad giveaway on this one too. And I could hear the Ducks fans yelling at the screen right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're yelling at the screen. If you're listening to this in your car, you're yelling in your car. Alex Killorn, why? I've seen the tweets. I've read your comments. I've heard it. Yes, a lot of fans are kind of sick of Alex Killorn right now. Yeah, another bad giveaway that he had in the middle of the game that I literally shook my head and said, what are you doing? What is this? Again, bad giveaways. Frank Vetrano is not immune to this either. No, sorry, Frankie, you're not immune to this. There was also another bad giveaway, also in the defensive zone, that could have been avoided. These are mistakes that you do not need to be making, especially in your own zone. You just cannot be doing that. As far as other mistakes, and those are just the mistakes in your own zone. Now I want to get to the other costly mistakes, and I want to get to a costly mistake on special teams, especially on the power play and at the very end. Costly mistake on special teams. Power plays looked bad. Power play has looked very, very awful. There was a whole minute where it was the second unit out there and Cutter Gauthier was wide effing open on the other side. And the Ducks just were unable or unwilling or whatever to make the pass across the Royal Road. And you had someone wide open on the power play, and you can't even get it over there. Yes, partially solid enough penalty killing by Vegas, but also the unwillingness to make those I shouldn't say high risk, but the willingness to make those risk reward type of passes. You cannot be passive on the power play. You just cannot. You need to take some kind of risks. You need to take those home run passes that could lead to home run shots. You need to make them. Otherwise, the defense can see right through it, and the defense is going to anticipate a pass back to the point, or they're going to anticipate a back and forth and a back and forth, and the puck is going to stay on the same side. We saw that too much on this particular game on the power play. But the biggest costly mistake, and I think I would consider this a mistake. I would. Not pulling Lukáš Dostal with 12 and a half seconds left after they came within 1. For some reason, Greg Cronin decided, no, we're going to leave Lukáš Dostal in net, and we're going to wait to win the faceoff and gain control before pulling Dostal. No, I'm sorry. With 12 seconds left, that is not the time to be passive. That is the time, as I just mentioned, to take risks. That's a risk reward type play that you need to make. You only have 12 seconds left. If you have 6-on-5 for the whole 12 seconds, maybe there's a slightly different dynamic on that final face-off, and maybe you get a higher quality shot at the end there. Again, take those risks. Very off topic, but I also do public address for a local USPHL team, the Ontario Junior Reign, and this has happened more than once this season where you pull the goalie with a few seconds left and wind up cashing in. There was an overtime game earlier this year where there was about 6 seconds left, and Coach Bloomis decided to pull the goalie, and it was like a rabbit out of a hat move. You don't wait to pull the goalie. You pull the goalie right away. That seems like coaching 101 at this level, at this point. You got to take those risks. You've got to. And I feel like that was one of the costlier mistakes that the Ducks made, but that one I put on the coaching staff. Got to have the advantage there, especially on the draw. All right, we're going to head to the first intermission, and we're going to talk more in detail about the Ducks' loss against the Vegas Golden Knights. Stay locked in. And now a brief word from Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle and save 50% off gourmet gifts site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code NHL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience. And the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoroughly curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NHL and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NHL. Minimum purchase may apply. We're also brought to you by Select Quote. The World Series, the Olympics, the world's top athletes get to play in these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing, teamwork. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. Select Quote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance. They can find you the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in your family's zone. If you're in good health, unlike some Ducks fans right now, they work with carriers that could get you same-day coverage for up to $5 million. No medical exam required. And these policies are more affordable than you think. You could get coverage for up to $1 million for as little as $20 a month. So get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. Go to selectquote.com/lockedonnhl today to get started. Once again, that's selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. We're here talking about the Ducks' latest in a string of losses at home. That is now a 1-4 record on this 6-game homestand with but one game remaining, and that is against the Detroit Red Wings. Good luck, Ducks. So how did we get there? Well, starting off early in this game, plenty of chances on both sides. And by plenty of chances, I mean, first off, I thought Cutter Gauthier was snake bitten. Oh boy, Leo. Oh, he had Aiden Hill beat. Aiden Hill did not see that shot coming from Leo Carlsson. He was dead in the water. And Leo Carlsson rang it off the post. Oh, man. Oh, I'm not crying, I promise. I wanted to cry at that point because I said, oh, here we freaking go again. I didn't say freaking, but you get the idea. So already good shot, ringing off the bar. So nothing. And they had some good chances too. Isaac Lundestrom tried to poke one in, tried to like strong arm it against the pads of Aiden Hill. That didn't go in as well. So the Ducks go on the penalty kill. They killed that penalty. Yippee, something good is happening. Then the Gudis giveaway, then more giveaways as I just talked about. But then the Ducks did something that they've been doing a lot this season. They're scoring first. Yeah. Pavel Mintyukov just shot it right towards the goal, and Brock McGinn, like, he just picked up the garbage. And the juicy rebound. Oh, boy. Aiden Hill should not have let that rebound go out that far, but he did. So the Ducks took advantage, and they take an early 1-0 lead. Yeah, I saw the 1-0 lead, and I was happy for about 2 seconds. And then I said out loud, okay, how are they going to blow this one? Because the Ducks have done this an awful lot this season. They score first, they blow it. Oh, how right I was. I hated being right on this one, but only because I've seen it so many times this year. A very late period goal tied things up at 1 apiece. Thanks to the brilliant play of Cole Schwint, who, by the way, that up and down movement by Schwint really drew the defense of Anaheim kind of off position. And then he had Shea Theodore just creating so much time and space. And then right there was Nicholas Waugh, wide freaking open to tie things up at 1 with under a minute left. So I did give credit where credit is due. I'll give credit to Cole Schwint for having that up and down game and moving the defense. I'll give credit to Shea Theodore for drawing the defense even more and finding the very open Waugh. So Waugh didn't have to do a whole lot of work. He just had to position himself in the right spot and pick up the goal. So the work on that one goes to Schwint and Theodore, getting the defense awry. Then, second lead, it was time for the Ducks to really blow it. And by really blow it, I mean, take a bad penalty. Brett Leeson, he did high stick Tanner Pearson. Although I did mention that Tanner Pearson, for what it's worth, he did sell it. I mean, Leeson did catch him with the high stick, but the severity of the hit and the way that Tanner Pearson cocked back his head, that was a sell job. He made sure the refs saw that one coming. And this, a few minutes after a high sticking penalty the other way, does not get called. Yeah, maybe sell those penalties a little bit better, Anaheim. So Ducks went on the PK. And what do you think happens on the power play? Well, the special teams were bad once again. The diamond broke down way too easily, and Tomas Hertl scored on the power play for Vegas. That made it 2-1 pretty quickly, too. Another great play by Shea Theodore, drawing the defense. And also, Jack Eichel didn't have the puck for a long time. Eichel put it towards the net, and Shea Theodore, drawing defense again, and Tomas Hertl picks up the rebound, making it 2-1. Then we go to the third period. At this point in the game, I did point out that there was a line that was buzzing pretty much the whole game, the first 2 periods especially. The Zegras, Vetrano, Terry line was creating some good chances all game long. The passing was good. Frank had a couple of very good shots on net. Troy Terry had a couple of good chances there. Zegras trying his best to make something happen out of nothing. So that line was pretty good all game. But third period, it happened again. Another bad giveaway, the one that I mentioned off the top. Gudis giving it away. 3-1 Vegas. Dorofeev, oi. And then the very end of the game, Frank Vetrano with a man advantage. I did think it took a little bit too long for the Ducks to pull Lukasz Dostal, as I mentioned. Frank Vetrano scored the goal with 12 and a half seconds left in the game. Credit to Brett Leeson and Alex Killorn with the helpers, although that one, Brett Leeson did a lot of the heavy lifting on that goal, as well as Frank Vetrano. So that made it 3-2 Vegas with 12 and a half seconds left, and then that bad mistake. So final score was 3-2, and I'm just sick of this. I am. All right, we're going to head to the second intermission. We're going to talk about garbage time goals and jerseys. Yeah, we'll get to that on the other side. And now a brief word from FanDuel, which is America's #1 sportsbook. The NBA season is in full effect, so is the NHL season, and right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on those leagues and more all in one place. So if you have a feeling in the middle of a game, maybe you think the Ducks are going to come back, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. So just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Maybe don't bet on the Ducks if you want to win right now. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. And please, folks, please gamble responsibly and maybe don't bet on the Ducks right now. Welcome back to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Once again, you're locked in with Jason Hernandez on episode number, what is this, 957 now? We're getting pretty close to 1,000 here. All right, let's wrap up by talking about garbage time. I did appreciate it that there was a few listeners that I saw tweeting about garbage time and a couple tweeting directly at the Ducks. Yeah, these garbage time goals are not going to help the Ducks right now. That is three. Count them, 3 in 5 games in this very homestand. Need I remind you of the garbage time goals? I'm glad you asked. Garbage time number 1. This happened on the very first game of the homestand, where the Ducks had a big deficit against the Chicago Blackhawks, and Mason McTavish scored with very little time left. So instead of 4-1, it was 4-2. Same thing happened against the Minnesota Wild later on in the week. Ducks were down 5-1 and then decided to score a very late goal for whatever reason. There was like 12 seconds left there as well. McTavish scored that garbage time goal as well, and that resulted in that little brouhaha that happened towards the end. And now the same thing happening here. Down 3-1 with a few seconds left. This one I do also consider a garbage time goal, because if you're down by 2 goals, if you score it with more than 30 seconds left, then you can say, all right, there's enough of a time to win the faceoff, make some kind of push, and get at least 1 or 2 very good shots on goal or more. 30 seconds feels like enough time. With 12 seconds left, yeah, that one feels like garbage time. The one against the Wild, that was 12 seconds left. The one against the Blackhawks, that one had, I think, like... So now credit Mason McTavish with 2 garbage time goals, and now we can credit Frank Vetrano with a garbage time goal. So by all intents and purposes, Mason McTavish has 0 goals this season, and Frank Vetrano has about 1 goal this season. Not officially, but these garbage time goals just don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. I mean, how are you supposed to feel good about a goal that late in the game, and how are you supposed to respond accordingly? You can't. There is minimal positivity about scoring goals that late, because at that stage of the game, the other team is just hanging on. In one case, the other team just did not care. They didn't. That was that Blackhawks game. There was 5 seconds left. Chicago kind of went, okay, whatever, and Max scored it with a few seconds left. How do you feel good about that? Is that even a real goal if the defense just kind of gives up and says, okay, whatever, just stop, don't score, whatever? This one against Vegas, you could feel slightly good about because at least they're trying to mount some kind of comeback, and there's a very small chance that you're going to score that equalizer with a few seconds left. But under 20 seconds, that feels like too little time to do anything about it. And then Greg Cronin with that bad mistake, leaving Dostal out there. That's as bad as it gets. I don't want to stop and end the show on a negative note, so I'm going to try to end on a positive note and at least kind of try to smile through the pain. That's what I'm doing right now. And I think we should all smile through the pain because, hey, good news. It's National Jersey Day. So as you can see, I got 2 jerseys behind me. If you're on YouTube, I got 2 of my favorite Ducks jerseys of all time. To this side, to my right, that is the Patos de Anaheim jersey. This was the jersey from a couple years back where this was Ryan Getzlaf's final season. That jersey has the flowers on it. So my family is from Michoacan, and we do celebrate Dia de los Muertos. We celebrate every year. I've had several family members pass away around the holiday, by the way. So having this one kind of inspired by the marigolds and the flowers, I had to pick that one up. This is one of my favorite, not just Ducks jerseys, this is one of my favorite jerseys that I own. So the Patos de Anaheim, the flowers, love that jersey, one of my favorites. And then, of course, to my left, the one comme ça, the Ducks' 25th anniversary jersey with the kind of sort of OG colors with the old school Mighty Ducks logo on it. I love that jersey, one of my favorites. The one I'm wearing right now is the orange alternate, also with the Mighty Ducks logo, which is still like goated logo in the National Hockey League. And I was very glad to see the Ducks go back to this logo, essentially. I was very happy to see the Ducks go back to Wild Wing. It just looks really cool right now. And yes, I am going to pick up one of these jerseys at some point soon. But, again, happy National Jersey Day. So what are some of your favorite jerseys? Also, some of you may have noticed that I like to sport the jerseys of the opponents. I will point out that I do have the jerseys of 31 of the 32 teams. I don't count the Coyotes because they're no longer a team. By the way, the Utah Hockey Club, they're selling their jerseys this week, end of this week. Utah Hockey Club is putting their jerseys for sale. So if you can somehow snag one at the team store at Delta Center, those are the jerseys that have the inaugural season patch on it. So hopefully I can get one of those. So that'll be my first and probably only jersey pickup. Sorry, one of 2 jersey pickups this season. So Utah Hockey Club will be selling there soon, and that'll make it 32 for 32. I'm a bit of a collector, as you can probably tell, folks. So once again, what are some of your favorite jerseys? What jerseys do you guys own? Do you guys have a special jersey that you guys really love? And also, what's your favorite Ducks jersey of all time? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, that's going to do it for this very podcast. I want to thank those of you everydayers that have stuck around for as many episodes as you have. Thank you all so much. In the meantime, on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. You can follow me on Twitter X at StimpyJD. The show's Twitter X is at LO_Ducks. And this podcast is free and available across all platforms, including Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, etc., etc., etc. And once again, those of you that have come and approached me during Firebirds games and say, hey, Locked On Ducks, keep doing it. I know there's some loyal listeners out there that are Firebirds fans that always say like, hey, Locked On Ducks, I was going to do this last time and I forgot, but I want to actually get to talk to you guys. So if you're Firebirds fans and watching this, go and approach me. Love to talk to you guys. So make sure to approach me next game, following home games, whenever. Love to hear from you guys. So once again, thank you all for your continued support, especially right now. It is so greatly appreciated. For Locked On Anaheim Ducks, I'm Jason Hernandez saying have a great rest of the evening. Don't forget Locked On Goals tomorrow, and then we will have a post game on Friday. Once again, please be safe out there. Please be kind to one another. Be kind to yourselves, and Ducks fly together. Quack, quack, everyone. Quack, quack.